friends and family. Our last video was about 9 months ago. It was back in October, probably the beginning of October. So we thought we'd provide an update and get everyone kind of up to speed. So our last video, we had done some house hunting and looked at a lot of properties and made an offer on a place and got through the inspection process. Apparently that's how far we got in our last video. I didn't know that. It's been so long. So we were trying to figure out the logistics of moving and figuring out when our closing date would be in the last video. So a lot has happened since then. So much. So our closing date had been set for Veterans Day, so November of last year. So we kind of had to figure out whether we were moving before we closed, or if we were going to wait kind of until spring to move here. Winter.
Do you actually think that?
Well, I mean, it was like we could have chose to move here before winter or after winter, because we didn't want to move like during winter. So, because during winter there's like snow everywhere along the way, and we didn't want to drive a U-Haul in the snow. And we had to haul the truck behind the excursion, so that was, both of us were going to be driving
In the snow.
in the snow
With a load.
That was not going to be ideal. So it was either move at the beginning of winter or fall, kind of before we signed our documents, or wait until spring. So we opted to move in the fall. So we left here on Halloween, got to Phoenix, had 2 days to pack a U-Haul, get the truck on the trailer, hook it up, and then drive back. And we timed it so that we could have everything in the U-Haul when we signed documents, so that we could just bring it all to the property, and then start moving in. Kind of another reason why we decided to do it that way was because if we had bought the house and decided not to move our stuff until the spring, we'd have to buy a lot of furniture. I mean,
Yeah.
all beds for the kids, pretty much everything, because we didn't have anything here. We lived in our RV.
So we had some of that stuff in storage to bring out here to make some of those expenses a little bit easier.
Yeah, when we sold our house last year, we sold a majority of our belongings except for kind of big items or things that were sentimental to us. So we had one storage unit that had the truck and all of our belongings that we kept. So it was one storage unit full of stuff. And that was a whirlwind packing that up and bringing it here. It was a lot of work all at once, but we did it. So we had closed on the house, we moved everything in, and I think it was really, I'm kind of grateful that we did it that way, because it was actually the coldest winter that had happened here in like a century. Like, they hadn't had snow like they did in decades. So it was a really cold winter. I can't imagine trying to get through winter in the RV here. That would have been really cold. At one point we got we got like 12 inches of snow in one day. We were able to make snowmen, things like that. So if you follow us on Instagram, I was posting pictures of things like that. I tried to keep at least that part up to date. So, but we got the house, we moved into the house, and we've just been working on it since. Our house is a smallish house. It's bigger than the RV, so that's what we were I'm happy about that. So the house is about 1,200 square feet. We have a 30 by 40 shop. I looked up 30 by 40. And then 2.3 acres of land. And it's mostly wooded. There's a severely neglected pond, donut-shaped pond, that just has a lot of trees that have fallen down and stuff like that inside of it. And it has a bridge that goes over, and it's just dilapidated. So we're working on cleaning all that up, and just takes time and some elbow grease. We got chickens, so we have 6 chickens. They should start laying here in the next few weeks, so we should have some eggs. It's very exciting.
We have a garden.
We have a garden, which I will be doing garden tours with kids, and the garden, it all keeps me pretty busy. So it's kind of hard to pick up a camera. We're finding that a little bit difficult. We're not used to it. But yeah, we have a garden. That was very exciting to be able to plant a bunch of tomatoes and peppers, and got some beautiful zinnias back here. So yeah, that's been really awesome. The kids come in here with me, and Lainey picks tomatoes all the time. So it's fun. We love the garden. We also do have a new cat, a new kitten. We went to go visit some friends, some new friends that we had made, their other homeschool family. And we visited them at their house. They have quite a bit of land and tons of chickens just roaming the property, and they had cats they were trying to get rid of. So we got a 9-week-old little kitten. She's orange. Her name is Molly. She's been very fun. The kids love her. But she's an outdoor cat, so she's gonna be our little huntress and hopefully keep the squirrel population in check. We'll see. Still waiting on that. She's still a kitten, so.
Well, keep things out of the garden.
Yeah, she loves to rest on the ledge of our patio and watch the garden, and she likes to pounce around the vegetables. So I think just her being here kind of deters rodents. So that's good.
And she was a barn cat, so she's hopefully not gonna hunt our chickens.
Yeah, she roamed around the property with chickens. Like, I think they had like 30 some odd chickens and some roosters and pigs and a big dog, and she just kind of roamed around with everybody and never chased the chickens or anything. So yeah,
So the dogs are getting used to her.
yeah. Archie loves her. He's pretty obsessed with her. Sandy could care less. She's a cat. She's here. But yeah, animals are getting used to her, and she's fun. So some other projects we had done. We've just been working on clearing brush and trees. So we live in the Ozarks, northern Arkansas. It's like north central Arkansas. So we're about like 30 minutes from the Missouri border. And here in this area, it's really rocky, super rocky. And there's a lot of briars, so it's green briars. And they're just like these invasive vines that they're super prickly, and they grow really fast.
Like brambles.
Like brambles. They're a pain in the everything. Like, don't rub your leg against them because they'll get stuck on your pants. They might poke you through the pants. We've only found one kind of yard gloves, like working gloves, that kind of keep the stickers out or the thorns from hitting our hands. So those have to be maintained and cut down constantly.
And the trees, because in Arizona we don't have trees that grow like weeds.
Yeah, there's so many trees here. When we cut down tiny saplings, and weeks later we have trees that, like, the tree is growing again and sprouting new branches out of the stump. So it's more about maintenance. It's hard to get projects done when there's so much just to maintain. So we're trying to learn that balance. When we moved here, Dave was still working full time. We have kind of an office set up so that he can do that. So Monday through Friday he's working. So we have evenings when the weather permits.
Which the weather permits so much more here than it does in Phoenix.
Yeah, all summer we haven't gotten 100 degrees. Like, its heat index has been 100, over 100, because it's like 98 degrees with 90% humidity, so it feels like 110. But it's just very different from Arizona. I mean, here, I guess the big thing is it's green here. Like, so green. I mean, there's like trees all back here. All over our property. It's just so much shade, which is awesome. Even when it's hot, there's shade. Yeah, I still really like it here. A year later, we had landed here in August of last year. August 20th, I think, or 23rd or something like that. I have it in my calendar. It was something like that. But we landed.
So we're almost a year being here.
Yeah, almost a year exactly being here. From when we landed in the RV and started camping out here. So it's it's been almost a year being in this region. There's so much to see here too. We've gone to see a couple of the state parks, the Arkansas State Parks. The fireworks show on the 4th of July was amazing. We live right near the Norfolk Lake, so there's like a big lake community here, and they have 2 bridges that go across the lake, and they set off fireworks in the lake. So if you're on either of the bridges, you could see just this amazing show, and there's boats all over the lake with their lights on. It was a really cool experience and an amazing fireworks show. It wasn't even bad waiting for the show because the weather was so nice. The whole time I couldn't stop thinking about, like, in Arizona, we'd set up around like 6 to get a good spot in the 110 degrees and just try and stay cool enough until fireworks went off at like 10.
Yeah, like 9:30 stuff.
Like 9:30-ish. But gosh, those were some hot nights that we did that. But here, like, kids got to play on a playground, and we had camping chairs, and it was fun.
I mean, we were on the lake, so if we had a boat or
Yeah.
wanted to go out on the water, that would have been a really good idea,
Yeah.
too. So,
Maybe next year.
maybe.
Maybe. We'll see. Yeah. So there's been just a lot that's gone on. Most recently, I guess just this week, we did have a storm shelter installed. It's right over there. Obviously you can't see it, but I have a time lapse of them installing it. And it was really cool for the kids to be able to watch this giant digger dig out a, 8 by 10 hole, 8 foot by 10 foot hole in the ground to fit this storm shelter. It's an underground storm shelter, 6 by 8 feet, and it's like 6 feet tall too. So the kids got to watch that. They loved it. Anything that's like heavy machinery, they really dig. So, literally dig. But yeah, so now we have a storm shelter. Part of the reason we got a storm shelter is we didn't realize when we moved here that we're kind of on the edge of Tornado Alley.
Well, we didn't know the whole South.
The whole South is like Tornado Alley. We thought like Oklahoma was the edge of it. No.
Like Oklahoma,
Nebraska,
and Kansas.
Yeah, no, we thought that was it. No, it's not. So we've had a couple instances where there have been tornado warnings, tornado watches. A couple times, the town we live near, it's about 20 minutes to the center of town. They have a courthouse building, and it's an old stone building, and they have a basement area. So when there's a storm, a tornado warning, which is different than a tornado watch. Tornado watch is like, oh, we haven't seen anything yet, but it's likely. A tornado warning is that they have seen tornado activity in the area. So when there's a tornado warning, they open up the basement and they let residents come in there during that tornado warning. And there's a lot of churches nearby that do the same.
And the reason we do that is because we've got a modular, mobile style home. So
Right.
severe winds and heavy storm activity could impact us more than if we had a foundation, normal structure like we have all in Phoenix.
Yeah. So here, our home is a modular home. It's a mobile home. And it's just not safe to be in one during a tornado. So I think that's pretty obvious for people that kind of live in this region. So we opted to get a storm shelter, a tornado shelter. It is rated for tornadoes. And we had to wait a few months to have it installed and delivered because it's tornado season. But the peace of mind it provides is really
Worth it.
It's definitely worth it. And if something was to happen in the middle of the night, going into the middle of town 20 minutes away, when you can't see a tornado, that is just terrifying. So we have this now. When there's storms, we have notifications on our phones. The town has a siren system, but it's really hard to hear it out here, and like you're not listening for it when you're in the house. If you're already outside, you can hear it faintly. But
If the alarm does go off every day at noon.
every day at noon, you know it's noon because the storm sirens are being tested every day. It keeps their batteries like in flex. So yeah, we know what the storm, what the tornado warning is. But again, you can't hear it from inside the house very well, especially if you're asleep in the middle of the night or if in the middle of the day. The kids are rambunctious, so. But things are going good. I think kind of one other update is we were previously homeschooling. We are going to continue to homeschool. The schools in the area, they have really good extracurricular programs, things like that. So that might be something we go to at some point. But with COVID numbers going back up, it just makes sense for us to keep them home and keep them kind of safe.
Yep, we sat down and talked about, you know, is it a good idea to put them back in school, get the social, make friends.
Yeah.
But we really think what's best for us, best for our kids and us, is homeschool.
Yeah. It's been going well. I mean, there are some other homeschool families that I've been trying to connect with. Again, with COVID numbers going up, it's not like we can make play dates, but we have met a couple of them before the COVID numbers started going back up, and of course we were masked and we met outside, and I'm looking forward to making those homeschool friends. We had some great friends back in Phoenix that did homeschooling, and the kids really miss them, so community is important. So that's one thing that we are working on, but it takes time. So that's about all we have. We'll try and do more updates more often than every 9 months, but we are busy constantly.
Yep.
And we're just having fun. It's fun here. We enjoy being outside. It's so nice out right now. It's in like the high 70s right now, I would guess.
I just feel like it's been so much easier to be active.
Yeah, it is much easier for me just to be like, okay, the kids got energy. Let's get outside. Let's go play. We have a big U-shaped driveway. So all the kids are learning how to ride the bikes. The 3 big kids know how to ride bikes now. And they can ride the entire U-shaped driveway. Heck, we might build a bike track throughout the backyard. We're considering a walking path. Once we get treehouse, greenhouse, because now I grow things. So this big trellis, I'm growing melons accidentally, but you know, yeah, things just grow here. Like it's humid and there's no like sun scalds because in Arizona it's just so hot, nothing grows without being pampered. But here things want to grow. Everything, kids, gardens, weeds. But yeah, we like it.
Certainly do.
So stay tuned. We'll try and update soon.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. So we did film the entire install of the shelter, so I will do a time lapse on that right now.